Please, welcome to Star Recaps and don't forget to subscribe. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is a 2008 historical drama film written and directed by Mark Herman. It is based in the 2006 novel of the same name by John Boyne. Set in World War II, the Holocaust drama relates the horror of a Nazi extermination camp through the eyes of two 8-year-old boys. Bruno, played by Asa Butterfield, the son of the camp's Nazi commander, and Shmuel, played by Jack Scanlon, a Jewish prisoner. A forbidden friendship with a Jewish boy has a startling and unexpected consequences. Bruno is a young boy living in Berlin in Nazi Germany during World War II. One day, he returns from school along with his friends happily. On the way we can see German soldiers pushing and loading peoples on a truck. He is surprised to see the odd when he reaches home. His mother Elsa tells him that his soldier father, Ralph, an SS officer, is promoted and they are relocating the family to the countryside, which is in occupied Poland. Bruno is very sad to hear this. He doesn't like leaving his friends. He loves his sweet home and hustle and bustle of the Berlin city. His mom and dad try to convince him, saying it would be like an adventure in his books. In the evening they have a farewell party. His father Ralph has a little argument with his grandma who does not like Hitler and shifting home. But his grandfather supports his father. Next morning, Bruno says goodbye to his friends and starts their long journey. They reach their new home, which he finds dull and uncharming. Their maid Maria tells Bruno that in order to feel like a home he should make it a home. He saw a serious-looking soldier named Kotler who is a driver for his father. He watch out from his room and sees some people with same striped outfit and a fence around them nearby. He thinks it a farm and strange one. He asks his mom about the farm. Actually, it is a concentration camp for Jewish prisoners. While they are talking, an old Jewish servant with same striped outfit enters the room bringing vegetables. They are surprised to see him. Realizing the camp is near the house her mother complained to his father. Bruno tries to be happy, so he plays alone in his room. Maria motivates him to play outside in front yard. While playing in front yard he sees an entrance to the back garden. He enters it and starts exploring. His mother sees him from a window and forbids him to go in that area. On the dinner table his father tells him that they will not go to school. Instead a tutor will come to their home. Next day, Bruno is feeling lonely and sad. He had no friends to play with, no place to explore and no school to go. He watches his sister who starts liking Kotler. He asks Kotler for a spare tire for making a swing. Kotler yells to the old Pavel and tells him to find a tire for Bruno. Bruno is startled to see the rude behavior of Kotler. Pavel brings Bruno to the backyard and gives him a tire. Bruno sees a way out of the wall from a store room. While swing on the tire Bruno falls and injured. Pavel comes running and help him bandage the wound. Bruno finds out that Pavel was once a doctor. But he don't understand why he is peeling potatoes in his house. His mother returns and thanks Pavel for looking after Bruno. Their tutor Herr List comes and tells Bruno not to read adventure books anymore. He gives a history book to read it and also advise him to read newspapers. Bruno tries to read the book but it is not getting into his heads. Tired of alone and boredom Bruno decided to explore outside the wall. He goes out through a ventilation and starts running in the woods happily. He reaches the barbed wired fence and sees a boy sitting there alone. He asks about the boy. The boy tells his name is Shmuel. He also tells that his friends fights a lot, so he is sitting here alone to avoid them. He asks Bruno for food as he is hungry. Bruno wonders why Shmuel is wearing that uniform which he calls it pajamas. Shmuel hears a whistle sound and gets running back. Bruno also returns home. From this day onwards Bruno often starts visiting Shmuel near the fence. One day Bruno searches for his football in the basement and he is shocked to see the dolls thrown away there by his sister. Due to the influence of their tutor and attraction to Kotler, his sister starts changing her mind. When Bruno goes to ask about the dolls he sees her bedroom wall is filled with posters of Adolf Hitler and war heroes. He is confused and can't understand why. On another day Bruno visits the fence carrying chocolate for Shmuel. He is happy to find a friend in that isolated place. But this time Shmuel is not there. He throws a rock on the fence and comes to know that it is electrified. So it is dangerous, try going inside. The tutor reaches them history lessons and tells Bruno that he will be the greatest explorer if he can find a good Jew. He promotes Nazi propaganda and hatred against Jews to the children. But Bruno is not convinced easily by his tutor, as his teachings are in contrast to what he sees in Shmuel and Pavel. When his mother is went out to a town, Bruno immediately goes to see Shmuel. They talks about their father and smoke coming out from chimneys nearby. They don't know what it is. As a child, both of them knows nothing about war and what is happening in the camp. Bruno invites Shmuel to his house, but Shmuel replies that he can't go outside the fence. Bruno wonders what he had done anything wrong. Back at home, his mother also doesn't like the changing behavior of her daughter Gretel. But her husband convinces her that children should also be aware of the war. Next time, Bruno packs some food and brings a football. Shmuel eats them hungrily. Bruno tries to play football, but Shmuel stops it, saying it is dangerous. Bruno feels sad about not able to play properly. He eventually learns Shmuel is a Jew, brought to the camp with his parents. Bruno's mother Elsa discovers the reality of Ralph's assignment after Kotler reveals the black smoke coming from the camp's chimneys is from burning bodies, and she confronts him. She cries, knowing the truth that the place is not suitable for her children. Ralph gets angry on Kotler for revealing the secret. One day, their grandfather comes visiting, but not grandma. At dinner, Grandpa informs that their grandma is sick. While talking, Kotler is asked about his father. He hesitates but had to reveal it that his father had left his family for Switzerland to avoid national service. Ralph tells Kotler he should have informed the authorities of his father's treason. Embarrassed, Kotler beats Pavel to death for spilling a glass of wine. They all are shocked to see brutal act of Kotler, who tried to prove that he hates Jews and defected on his service. That night, Bruno cries for what did to poor Pavel and asks about the farm to his sister. She tells that it's not a farm but a camp for horrible Jews people. But Bruno cannot find them horrible and cannot agrees to his sister. Next day, in his surprise, Bruno sees Shmuel working in his home, cleaning wine glasses. He offers him cake. When Kotler finds Bruno and Shmuel talking, he berates Shmuel and notices him eating. Shmuel tells Kotler that Bruno offered the cake, which Bruno fearfully denies, with Kotler then telling Shmuel they will have a little chat later. Bruno tries to apologize to Shmuel later, but he doesn't reappear at the fence for several days. Afterwards, Bruno clandestinely sees his father and other soldiers reviewing a propaganda film about the conditions of the camp, with them supposedly being able to play games, have meals in cafes, and attend concerts. Bruno, thinking it is real, hugs his father. Kotler, for failing to inform the Nazi authorities about his father's defection, gets transferred to the Eastern Front. Bruno continues returning to the fence, and eventually, Shmuel reappears, with a black eye from Kotler's little chat. Bruno apologizes and Shmuel forgives him, renewing their friendship. In Berlin, Ralph's mother Natalie, who disapproves of the Nazi regime, is killed by an Allied bombing raid. At the funeral, Elsa tries to remove a wreath from the Führer out of respect for Natalie and her beliefs, but Ralph stops her, causing them to argue after the service. Back home, Ralph tells Bruno and Gretel that their mother is taking them to live with family where it is safer. In reality, Elsa stood up to Ralph and doesn't want the children living in the vicinity of a concentration camp. Bruno visits Shmuel before he leaves, and learns that Shmuel's father has disappeared after being transferred to a different work gang. Bruno decides to redeem himself by helping Shmuel to find his father. Shmuel provides Bruno with a prisoner's striped outfit and a cap to cover his unshaven head, and Bruno digs under the fence to join Shmuel. He is shocked to see the many sick and frail Jews. The boys search for Shmuel's father in one of the huts, but suddenly guards round everyone in the hut into a large changing room. Back at the house, Gretel and Elsa discover Bruno's disappearance, and Elsa bursts into Ralph's meeting to alert him. Ralph and his men mount a search, with Elsa and Gretel following. A dog tracks Bruno's scent to his discarded clothing outside the fence, and Ralph enters the camp. Meanwhile, Bruno, Shmuel, and the other inmates are told to remove their clothes in preparation for a shower. They are packed into a gas chamber and the lights go out. A Schutzstaffel soldier then arrives and pours Zyklon B pellets inside the chamber, causing prisoners freak out and begin panicking, yelling and banging at the door. Seeing that a gassing is taking place and realizing what has happened, Ralph cries out his son's name in despair. At the fence, Elsa and Gretel hear his cries and falling to their knees, They mourn Bruno, with Elsa weeping and wailing as Ralph helplessly looks on. In the aftermath, the closed door of the now silent gas chamber shows the price owner's clothing, confirming that all of them, including Shmuel and Bruno, are dead.